Hi folks, welcome to Film Composing Bites. This is the start of an ongoing series that will explore musical issues and values in composing music for screen. The other day I was discussing the role of melody in feature films. With the rise in prominence of composers such as Michael Giacchino and Bear McCreary, melody-dominated music seems to be making a little bit of a comeback. A composer, therefore, should always learn how to make good tunes, but what makes a good self-contained tune? John Painter asks this very question in a book that he published in 1992, some time ago, called Sound and Structure. He asks what makes a good tune good. Like any other musical form, if it is to be successful, a self-contained tune with or without an accompaniment, and whether or not it has associated words, must fulfill the expectations raised by its main musical idea. This may be nothing more complicated than a rising or falling interval at the start, or a distinctive melodic or rhythmic figure in the opening phrase. Nevertheless, it is this which dictates how the tune shall go on, how it shall sustain itself throughout its course, and what its overall duration shall be. Assessing the correct treatment for the main motif is a vital part of the art of composing a tune. We'll look at that technique in a minute, but I just now want to go to Bear McCreary's latest film, Rebel in the Rye. He has a fantastic blog on his website, bearmccreary.com, in which he explains his approach to composing and music in general. In scoring this film, the first Innocence theme is the cue that represents Jerry's young life, he says, before he's complicated by trauma and heartbreak. The melody, which was actually the first piece he wrote as a demo, is played most often by flute or piano and has tremendous emotional value to him. You can see that there is a distinctive melodic figure. In this case, it's a rising sixth, which moves back within the space and compass of this interval. Let's just hear it on Spotify now. Something interesting that I observed is that every time this bar turns up, he changes the harmony or changes the melody very, very slightly. A very interesting development of that theme. But you can see how the expectations raised by the initial opening interval are gently and gradually developed and reworked throughout the rest of the film. Interestingly enough, he felt the need for a second theme, which he says was to propel the film's narrative, one that represents Jerry's genius as he writes. The second theme, the inspiration theme, forms the backbone of the score and is featured prominently throughout the film's writing sequences. One thing I notice about the relationship between this theme and this theme here is this subtle falling third here. It reflects the sort of opposite, really, or the inversion of the upward sixths with a downward third. That's a really interesting bit of musical technical logic, which exhibits itself most fundamentally in a theme by John Williams. It's the flying theme from E.T. We're going to look at that now. In this theme, which is extremely memorable, John Williams starts off with an upward fifth. Again, it's a classic device to open a theme. In this case, it's going up. It has progressive movement. And it's also balanced with recessive movement. What I mean by that is that progressive movement or energy wants to move towards something and is then balanced with movement away from it. So progression is movement towards something, and recessive energy, is movement away from it. And all good melodies exhibit a balance between the two elements, progression and recession. And it's a very good idea sometimes when you're writing a tune to really analyse what you write in terms of progressive movement and its balance with recessive movement. Is there too much recession? Is there not enough recession? Is there enough progression? Is there too much progression? In this interval, he goes back within the space that it's created, and that's a classic device. Each time there's a wide interval that moves up, the melody notes after it move down within its compass. Octave here, within its compass. Seventh there, within its compass. Octave there, within its compass.